Good afternoon, everyone. We are back once again, rather predictably so, covering Oasis for the what? Fourth, fifth time now? We're officially going in chronological order. I say officially because I began this little Oasis tier list series with the Master Plan, which, as we all know, was not only a studio album, but wasn't their first album either. Certainly not. Their fourth, technically. But I've covered Definitely Maybe. I've covered What's the Story, Morning Glory, which can only mean one thing, and that's that it's now time to discuss Oasis's monumentally disappointing third album, Be Here Now. And can you tell that I have already attempted to record this video once over because, Do You Know What I Mean, is already an A. So I shall sneakily put that back. Just pretend you didn't see it. Yeah, this album is, it's very indicative of where the band were at the time. You know, they were so successful. They just played Nebworth. This album was already kind of in the running to be made, and I guess their headspace was, let's just go bigger and bolder and brasher than ever before. Bold and brash. Which this album certainly does. I mean, does it, are the songs as good as on the prior two albums? No. Are they still undoubtedly Oasis? Yes. There's something in the bones of every Oasis song around, between like 94 to 97 that this album does encapsulate, but it just feels like lesser versions of what came previously. And Noel, I seem to remember him saying in an interview one time that the tracks that made it onto Be Here Now were the tracks that essentially weren't good enough to go on the first two, and it's like, okay, well then maybe they shouldn't have gone on any album at all. Maybe you should have saved them for B-sides, and maybe, just maybe, some of those great songs that you did put as B-sides on Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory, you should have saved for this album because it would have been a much better album. Having said that, there's still some great stuff here, so let's waste no more time in getting into it. Do you know what I mean? This song is so emblematic of the album overall. It spends like its first minute, just building up such an ambiance, such tension, because, and this is one of those ones that really bears putting into context, like the whole album does, but especially this opener. Keeping in mind this is the opener following like two of the biggest British rock albums of all time, by a super young band who are super, feeling themselves, like super, believing their own hype. And you start with this, like, just pure excess, this, like, Morse code, helicopter sounds, like, feedback and stuff like that, guitar scrapes. And as a listener, you're thinking, holy shit, Oasis are back, and they're, like, bigger and badder than ever. What's going to happen? And it kicks into basically just, like, Wonderwall rehashed, but, like, distorted this time, as a lot of this album very much is. But you know what? Do you know what I mean? Still a good song. That the melody on the pre-chorus, "I met my maker," is like, that's fucking epic. And I'll say this much about Be Here Now as an album overall, so this is pretty much applicable to every track thereafter. Liam's vocals on this album, although the songs aren't quite there, although they're a little overblown, and although they're too long, Liam's vocals are like the best on this album than they've ever been. Like, I think Liam's voice sounds better here than on Definitely Maybe. But the way he sings on this album, for as good as it was on the album itself, it really just, I think this was like the starting point for Liam Gallagher's monumental fall off vocally. But you know what I mean? I'm going to put it in A. This is actually one of those ones, like so many of the criticisms of Be Here Now are words to the effect of, oh, this would have been such a better song if you'd brought the runtime down. I think this is actually one of the few that gets away with it. I don't actually mind the runtime of, do you know what I mean? Because it does use it to great effect. Once again, that first minute of just like setting the tone, building the ambience. It reminds me a little of I Want to Be Adored by the Stone Roses. Then you've got the little interlude after the first verse, once again just building more tension. The pre-chorus, that tension releases, and then the chorus, it takes it even further when Noel comes in and just brings those like heavenly backing vocals that he, used very plentifully around this time. And the solo's great too, so it's going in A. My Big Mouth. Now you see, do you know what I mean? Kind of for as much as it is, for as much as it is like the Wonderwall chords, and it definitely sounds like an Oasis song, it's not like veering in a particularly different direction. I do think, do you know what I mean, is like new territory for the band. In terms of they've never been quite this ambient and textural before. And so you build up something that, you're building up a certain kind of vibe that you expect on track 2 is going to be preceded with something that kind of picks up where that left off. And My Big Mouth just doesn't. It's just like, it just sounds like typical Oasis by numbers stuff. And you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know, a lot of the songs on this album are very much just about being in Oasis and being a rock star. And I feel like when you position both, like, 2 tracks like that back to back, it just, I don't know, it feels a bit tired before the album's even barely begun. And My Big Mouth is so overblown, it's so loud. It's not that great of a song. I'm going to put it in B. It may even slip down to C, to be honest. Magic Pie, on the other hand, that is a C without even... You don't even have to ask me twice. Like, so... Magic Pie... I said that, like... Do you know what I mean? Justifies its 7-minute runtime. Bro, this could not justify its runtime any less. This is so lame. Like, this and Fading Out, they both have quite a sustained vibe to them. It takes them both a long minute to like really lift off. Except Fading Out, I feel like lifts off successfully, and Magic Pie, it's like, I'm sorry, you've lost me now. Like, even if we are at the point where the song like is gonna begin, as it were, and I understand that this is supposed to engage my excitement, it just doesn't, because everything before it was just boring me half to death to the point that you've already killed me. I'm already dead. So, fuck yourself. Magic Pie is going in C. There were so many great B-sides from this era, I don't get how this made it on and certain other things didn't. But we've already covered that. That certainly isn't uncharted territory. I've talked half to death about great Oasis B-sides as is. Stand By Me is going to go in B. And it's going to go top of B. Now, some people are going to riot over that, because Stand By Me is in Oasis's top 10, I do believe. Why? I don't know. As, once again, it's a good song. I'm not out here trying to claim it's a bad song. It simply isn't. I would be lying if I said it is. But like 5.5 minutes for this, the chorus literally just being Stand By Me, nobody knows the way it's going to be. Sorry, like, I mentioned in my previous video about Champagne Supernova how Noel is so effective in penning lyrics that toe the line between ambiguous and a bit vague and deeply profound. That for me falls into the category of just ambiguous and vague. Stand By Me, nobody knows the way it's going to be. It doesn't sound like he even... Like, if you had told me that as he was strumming the chords to Stand By Me, he just, like, came up with that as, like, a placeholder lyric and then just never bothered to replace it with anything else, I would believe you, because that's exactly what it sounds like. I don't know, it's just really vague, nonsensical lyricism, and not in the way that I want from Oasis. And so is Do You Know What I Mean, but I don't know, do you know, like, the production behind Do You Know What I Mean is so excessive, it's, like, so epic that it kind of toes the line between being epic and, like, holy shit, this is, like, hilariously over the top. And for as much as it comes very close to being hilariously over the top, it still, for me, falls into the category of, like, okay, I'm buying into the epicness, actually. Whereas Stand By Me doesn't even attempt that. It just flatlines for 5.5 minutes. Could have been 3.5. We have another Hey Now on our hands here, I fear. I Hope I Think I Know. I'm going to put that in A, behind You Know What I Mean. I really like I Hope I Think I Know. This could have been a single, I think. They're trying hard to put me in my place. And once again, going back to this whole, like, Liam's vocals are the best they've ever been on this album. He is singing, like, near enough at the top of his vocal register for like this whole entire song, and it doesn't even sound like he's struggling. Like, Liam's vocals on this song are so powerful. Like, I wish that he kind of sang in the upper echelon of his range more often, because it's like, holy shit, man. Like, considering he's just all throat, like, he is unrelenting on this song. And the rhythm section's great. It's just hammering away. Like, I love when Oasis operate in this form of just like super up tempo, like just unrelentingly positive. Yeah, big fan. I think I know. The Girl in the Dirty Shirt. This one's okay. It's a little different for Oasis in terms of the drum pattern and in terms of the I like the chorus. I like the slide guitar, like the electric slide guitar on the chorus. I do believe that is. It's a little kooky. It's a little quirky. It's kind of, I would call it the She's Electric or Digsy's Dinner of this album. Except those songs are both quite short, which I feel like this one could have been as well. I just don't like the extended outros on this album. Like, despite the fact that so the chorus tail ends with, she knows exactly what she's worth to me. And then you get this whole, like, that chorus has been beaten into our heads, like, over the course of, like, the first 4 minutes. And then you get this outro where it's just Noel, like, repeating that refrain of, she knows exactly what she's worth to me. Like, just, like, you can just hear him, like, belting in the distance. And it's like, okay. Like, dude, that lyric does not bear repeating that many times. Like, I don't know, man. This is a weird one. Get your shit together, gal. I'm going to put it in B. Between My Big Mouth and Stand By Me. Fading Out. This just sounds like a Bon Jovi song to me. This is such a weird mode for Oasis to be operating in. The fact that Johnny Depp plays, like, slide guitar on it or some shit does not give it extra props. Once again, though, I will say, like, this is a longer one. I have no problem with Oasis doing longer songs, I really don't. If, like in the case of Fading Out, they justify their runtime. Because I feel like Fading Out, it's such a tone piece. It really is like an exercise in exploring a different tone for Oasis, which, hey, like, always a welcome change for me. I will take Fading Out over a My Big Mouth or a Magic Pie, which are literally just, like, Oasis by numbers. And so, purely because it's something different, I don't mind that it's a bit longer. I'm going to put it in, once again, in B, above The Girl in the Dirty Shirt. I'm quite fond of Fading Out. It's not one that... It's definitely one to be consumed in the context of an album. Like, something like this was obviously never going to be a single. Like, it was always going to be an album track. But I respect that at least on this occasion, that they were using the album tracks to kind of go a little weirder, go in a slightly different direction. And I think it pays off here. It doesn't fucking pay off here or here, though, because they weren't even trying to do anything different. Don't Go Away. Now, understandably, I have a bit of a tricky relationship with this song, as it is effectively a stolen song. I mean, if you're an Oasis fan, you're probably aware of this by now, but there's a song called Feel the Pain by, I believe, a Liverpudlian band called The Real People, who Oasis just mercilessly stole the chorus of this song from. To the point that, yeah, you can't help but let that bear some effect on your opinions of this song. I don't know if that sentence that I just said made any sense. Nonetheless, my point is that the fact that it's effectively a stolen song does dock a few points off it. But it's also just really good. Like, it's such a nice song. And similar to, like, Rockin' Chair or Listen Up, it's one of the few times where Oasis just fully leans into the sad side, you know? Like, so don't go... It's quite a desperate, quite confessional and open and vulnerable song, which I really like. And Liam actually said, once again, I said this about Slide Away, where Liam, especially on this album for the most part, his whole, like, mantra is just, I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to blast it out as loud as I can and as powerfully as I can, because that's my role in Oasis. You know, that's my greatest strength, is my voice, and I'm going to sing it really throaty, and you're going to love it. But on Don't Go Away, it really does feel like he's feeling those lyrics, you know, and he's like really interpreting them in his own way. And I don't really say I blame him, because am I right in thinking that this song was written about how Peggy Gallagher, like, she had a bit of a cancer scare, and you know, the lads thought that there was like potential that they might lose her. So it would make sense why Liam's feeling this so hard. I'm going to put it in between I Hope I Think I Know and You Know What I Mean. So yeah, it's a stolen song, but it's still a good one. Be Here Now, this is just like another My Big Mouth or Magic Pie. It's not as bad as Magic Pie, but it is worse than My Big Mouth. I think I'm going to put this in C, in all honesty. I've never cared for this song. It literally ends with a toilet flushing. It's as if they knew that this wasn't good enough, but released it anyway. I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell from one track to the next, like, what type of way the band were feeling on this album, because like, it's such a half in, half out album. Like, once again, do you know what I mean? Is quite different. I guess like, if you played it on acoustic guitar, it's pretty much Wonderwall, but at least sonically it has like a different coat of paint, so it's like, yeah, I'll allow it. And like, yeah, it's a bit long, but it's a bit different, so I'll allow it. Same thing with Fading Out. But then you got like Be Here Now and My Big Mouth, which are also both really long, but they just don't justify it at all, because it's literally just Morning Glory, or some might say, but like B-Tech versions of them. I don't know. This album's weird. It's such a half in, half out album. All Around the World, you are gonna go in B. All Around the World, once again, would probably be an A-tier song, were it not for its like just crushing length. I mean, this song, Oasis kind of toes the line on this album. It very much toes the line of self-parody on more than one occasion, and they fully enter self-parody on this song. Like, I'm sorry, but it literally sounds like if another band had released, like, you know how like Oasis wrote Bonehead's Bank Holiday as like a piss take song? It fully sounds like another band wrote like a piss take song trying to like poke fun at Oasis, and this was the result. And once again, I don't know whether it necessarily would have read as that had they just like maybe not gone quite so excessive with it. But the fact that they did, like, the fact, like, the horns, the na na nas, the key changes, the fact that it's just crushingly mixed, the strings, I don't know, man. Like, it's so over the top. I'm gonna put it. Having said that, it's still a good song. Like, they're fucking lucky that the actual song at the core of this has such a strong and sing-alongable melody. I'm gonna put it top of B, to be fair. I know I've just spent the past few minutes taking the piss out of it, but the only reason I'm taking the piss out of it so hard is because I feel like this has the potential to be, you know, up here, but it's held back by just how corny it is. Like, dude, what were they thinking on this one? Like, it's so overdone. It's Getting Better, Man. That's another C for me. Like, bro, there are some choruses on this album. I'm looking at you, Be Here Now. I'm looking at all of you down here, actually, that get beaten, like, mercilessly into your skull. All Around the World being one of them, obviously. But It's Getting Better, Man. If you turned that into a drinking game, and every time he said It's Getting Better, Man, you had to do a shot, you'd be dead. You'd be hospitalized, incapacitated for the rest of your life physically, or fucking stone dead. Like, how many times does he say It's Getting Better, Man on this song? It's actually unthinkable. And once again, this is just continuing the trajectory of self-parody that All Around the World starts. This song, People were taking the piss out of Oasis, I bet, around the time of Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory, for just being like a chorus band. Like, oh, they just Noel Gallagher just writes. He's just good at writing hooks. That's all he's good at. But no, you deep dive into Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory, and every facet of those songs, from the verses to the pre-chorus to obviously the chorus itself to even the fucking guitar lines, are just laden with rich melody. And then this album, it's just like, it really is. I feel like this album almost confirms, the stereotype that Oasis was so consumed by at the time, which, that being that they're just a hooks band and nothing more. And yeah, this is probably the laziest example of that this album has to offer. It's getting better, man. It's getting better, man. The irony being that this song doesn't get any better as it goes on, it just gets louder. Okay, All Around the World reprise. Yeah, once again, were they just taking the piss at this point? I don't know. Because you've got a literal 9-minute song in the form of All Around the World, and then you get a reprise of that same song, as opposed to one of the many great B-sides this era had to offer, a fucking reprise of a 9-minute song. I think not. This is going fucking D, just because we didn't need it. The other songs were salvageable. You make My Big Mouth like 3.5 minutes, 4 at a push. Fine. You do the same thing to It's Getting Better, Man. Fine. This just doesn't... What's this even doing here? Just fucking get rid of it. We don't need this album to be any longer. Just end it now. So yeah, D. And I'm sorry to say it, guys, this album has no S's. I do apologise. Oasis, let's hope that Standing on the Shoulders of Giants brings us something better. But yeah, this is my Be Here Now tier list. Let me know what you think. I'd agree with these being an A. Let's see if there's any from B that could either move up or down. I'd say that's about right. And okay, I'm happy with that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Let me know what your own personal Be Here Now tier list would look like in the comments, as well as any album. Maybe let's because I'm trying to think of how we could get fun with this. Maybe instead of me doing like the ranking your favorite albums video, you just like comment an album that you want me to make a tier list of. I'll go away and listen to it like 5 or so times, and then I'll do a video in this kind of style. I don't know, let's experiment. Nonetheless, I will see you later. Bye bye.